Adam Schefter, aka Shefty, aka Ian Rappaport's greatest friend, greatest enemy. I'm not really sure. Good old Shefty reported that, quote unquote, the Bengals have no intention of trading the number one overall draft pick, no matter the interest from any other teams. So this is interesting because obviously this means that they want to draft Joe Burrow 100%. And I can see some benefits to this, wanting to draft Joe Burrow. And I just want to look at a few teams previously who traded high picks, and I want to see what that did for them. So, going all the way back to 2016, the Rams traded from 15th all the way up to number one with the Tennessee Titans. This is in 2016 when they drafted Jared Goff. Um, and I'm gonna just read off the trade details. The Titans received the 15th overall pick, two second round picks, one third, a 2017 first, and a 2017 third. And the Rams received the first pick, a fourth round pick, and a sixth round pick. And they drafted Jared Goff. And from those picks that they got, the Titans, they managed to draft Jack Conklin using a couple other trades with the picks they drafted. Austin Johnson. So first off, Jack Conklin, he's like a perennial Pro Bowler at tackle, and he's one of the best. He helps that offense run very well. Austin Johnston, he's pretty much a backup. He's never started a game. He has 2.5 career sacks. He's nothing special. Then you get the big names. Derrick Henry, who single-handedly just carried his team to the championship game. Corey Davis, wide receiver. He's pretty much the wide receiver 2 on that team. A.J. Brown has overtaken him. He's probably slightly above average, probably around average, maybe slightly above average as a wide receiver. And then you get Jonnu Smith, who's one of the better young tight ends in the league. So you get all that for essentially Jared Goff. Now, it looks like a haul. I think I'd rather have the 5 young core players, or 4 if you count out Austin Johnson, because he's literally like a no name. But you got 4 really good players to help build around your team. And I just want to point out one thing. They had Marcus Mariota, and they barely did anything until they got the right QB, which they got this season by benching Marcus Mariota and starting Ryan Tannehill. Once they got the right QB to run their team, all those picks started mattering more. Jack Conklin, he was really opening up lanes for Derrick Henry to run through and grind through defenses, all that. Without Ryan Tannehill, it wasn't possible. So I just want to emphasize, they weren't overly successful until they found their QB. That's literally what I wrote in my notes. They weren't overly successful until they found their QB, talking about the Titans. So, sure, they got all those good players, but it led to nothing until they got a good QB. Moving on to another trade, the Colts, they pretty much 2018 NFL draft. The Colts traded their 3rd overall pick to the Jets' 6th overall pick, and with that, the Jets drafted Sam Darnold, quarterback from USC, and he's a pretty solid quarterback. People think he's going to be the franchise for the Jets. Solid pick, right? The Colts managed to draft Quentin Nelson, who's an All-Pro, Braden Smith, who's a really good player, all offensive lineman. That's pretty much solidifies your entire offensive line right there. D'Amico Turi, I don't really know much about him. Jordan Wilkins, he's like the third back in that backfield. And Rock Ya-Sin, who's, to my knowledge, a decent DB. So, sure, they got like a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro, but they fell off the map once Andrew Luck left. Once Andrew Luck retired, and I'm going to hit on surprise retirements later on. I think everyone knows what I'm going to hit on later. But once they lost their star QB, they fell apart. They started Jacoby Brissett this year. Started off kind of hot, and then afterwards they just completely fell off the map. And that is literally because they didn't have a good QB. Now, so jumping back to the Bengals, I think not trading the 1st overall pick and drafting Joe Burrow is the correct move for a few reasons. First, Let's talk about all the quarterbacks who were right there, who are borderline like first, second round picks. Top five QBs that, to my knowledge, and I haven't watched any of these guys play football. I watched Joe Burrow play the championship game for college, and that's pretty much all I've seen. I've seen a little bit of Tua, right? Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, however you say his Tagovailoa. I'm going to skip his last name. I'm assuming it's Tua Tagovailoa or Tungovailoa, however you pronounce it. Justin Herbert, the quarterback from Oregon. Jordan Love, the quarterback from, I should know this, I'm forgetting. Jacob Eason, the quarterback from Washington. All right? You get those five quarterbacks. I can't remember Jordan Love's school, but that's fine. So, Joe Burrow from LSU, Tua from Alabama, Herbert, Oregon, Jordan Love from Utah State, and Jacob Eason from Washington. I take Joe Burrow over all those quarterbacks in a heartbeat. The only quarterback that's even a debate is Tua, and he has slight injury history right now, and is a kind of a question mark when it comes to him being the same player after this broken hip that he suffered for Alabama this year. So if you think that he's your guy, Joe Burrow's the guy who can turn around your franchise. Like, look at a team like the Titans. They got a QB, they turned it all around. The Colts lost their QB, they fell apart. You look at so many other teams, like this might be more Sean McVay because Goff isn't amazing, but they got the right QB for that team, and boom, they're taking off. Versus like the Bears, they have Mr. Trubisky, he's garbage. Boom, they're not playing well. QB matters, and I'm going to repeat it again. You cannot have success in the NFL if you do not have the right QB for your team. And if the Bengals believe that Joe Burrow can help turn around their team, then go for it. I think one faulty thing they shouldn't have done is leak this information to people, because you want to try to get that trade value up a little bit higher, I guess. But like I said, trade value doesn't matter for anything. If you believe Joe Burrow is going to come in and be a better quarterback than Andy Dalton, then by all means, go for it. Pull the trigger, get your guy. Now, talking about Joe Burrow, I hear lots of people, like, for example, I hear Zach Schambler from Strong Opinion Sports. He's saying how the